From Cointelegraph.com, bag holders rejoice. Bitcoin blows by $500 mark. And if you, like I, have been sitting on Bitcoins a little bit anxiously over the past few months, yes, this is very good news. Although, if you understand cryptocurrency and the general adoption of currencies that gain value versus government currencies that lose value, it's not hard to hold on to Bitcoin or to go long on cryptocurrency in general. But the volatility can be nerve-wracking, and there is no certainty that Bitcoin won't be made illegal or displaced or that some other calamity will befall this particular system. But obviously, cryptocurrency is the future of money. Bitcoin is up 30% this week. It has broken the psychologically important $500 mark that served as a resistance level for the last 2 months. Is this upsurge the mark of a new bull reversal or a minor retracement in a bear market that's been going strong since December 2013? At the time of this writing, Bitcoin has reached a new medium-term high of $578.50, up from $547.10 one day earlier. These prices are via Bitstamp, the largest exchange by volume. The price rise comes on the heels of the digital currency's consolidation following a decline from $500 to $432 in early May. Day traders were bored silly over the previous week's uncharacteristically narrow US $20 trading range. And that's because day traders are able to profit with fluctuations in the currency's value, not just in Bitcoin versus the dollar, but in all the other cryptocurrencies, as I've dabbled in myself. So when there's very little movement, there's not as much profit opportunity for the day traders. But this is from, $432 in early May is looking at, kind of a narrow window here, because there was one point around the Gox failure that Bitcoins went back down to what, Jeffrey, did they go below $100? I mean, for like a minute there, it was like literally for a few minutes, if not like a couple of hours, and everybody was scrambling going, oh shit, time to buy some Bitcoin. And then bam, it went right back up and stabilized, I don't know, somewhere around $300 before creeping back up, and it got up to $580, $600. And I remember I got in a couple months ago at $580 for a chunk, and then it went back down, and now coming back up. While it is difficult to definitively attribute price fluctuations in the short run to changes in Bitcoin's fundamentals, a number of positive developments over the past couple of weeks have begun to stem the negativity surrounding the digital currency. So I'll go a little bit further than the author here and say that these fluctuations in the short run, you can't attribute them to fundamentals, but I do think there is a fundamental shift here that is important. And the main thing is, people have gotten over the fear of another Mt. Gox style collapse, and people have just realized, you're kind of a sucker if you're keeping your currency, all of it on a single exchange that could fail if you're really dependent on that. So it's just another argument for distribution. So if the lesson from the Mt. Gox failure was, hey, only have as much currency on one exchange as you can afford to lose, hey, guess what? Bitcoin community, lesson learned, right? Right now, I have my coins spread out over 3 different exchanges. If I was dependent on that money, if it was a large amount of cash, I'd have some other offline secure storage for it. And people have learned, hey, that's just the way it goes. And until we have more established exchanges. And, I believe I think Andreas Antonopoulos, who we interviewed about this last week, would agree that the cryptocurrency adoption is going to be the end of governments. And that's a good thing, that when the fiat currency racket is taken away, governments are going to go away, and the violence that they provide is going to no longer be necessary, if it ever was. And that's, when you have that confidence, it's very exciting. But as long as we still have governments, as long as we still have these violent, coercive monopolies in charge of society, we're going to have to deal with some uncertainty in any market. But, obviously in a new market especially. So there are now these fundamentals here that Nicholas Aguirre points out from Cointelegraph.com that are positive up-and-coming fundamentals. But these have been in the works for a long time. It's just that the Mt. Gox collapse and the recovery from that had people scared for a while. And now we can get back to focusing on the positive things and being excited about all the great new technology and all the ways that Bitcoin is growing. The fact that amagimetals.com is taking cryptocurrency for gold and silver. Like, yeah, that's now a part of the economy. You can't put that cat back in the bag. That, we talked to BitcoinKinetics.com president Morgan Rockwell a couple weeks ago. The technology is already here. It's just a matter of adoption for getting it in your phone, in a handy wallet, in an ATM, and vending machines. It's all coming, people. The future is just right around the corner, and your Bitcoins are going to be worth a lot more, or at least some of your cryptos. Andreas is a little more confident than I am in Bitcoin maintaining its dominance. But I certainly understand his reasoning, and it's certainly possible. I wouldn't disagree with him that it's possible that Bitcoin itself is going to maintain its dominance and be the be-all, end-all cryptocurrency for, I don't know, the next 100,000, who knows how many years. So, the Bitcoin 2014 conference in Amsterdam brought significant news coverage, with Overstock.com CEO Patrick Byrne delivering the keynote speech. BitPay, which bills itself as the world's leading payment processor for Bitcoin, added to the warm and fuzzies by raising $30 million in a record-breaking Series A funding round. Circle, a Bitcoin currency services provider that raised $26 million in Series B financing, unveiled its suite of free Bitcoin financial services aimed at making Bitcoin more accessible to the average Joe as a means of exchange. This is the kind of news that reaffirms Bitcoin's Cinderella story. Following the collapse of Tokyo-based Bitcoin exchange Mt. Gox, multiple China bans Bitcoin news releases, and the arrests of Bitcoin Foundation director Charlie Shrem on money laundering charges, Bitcoin could really use a shot in the arm. Yeah, I get it. It's a fickle market. A lot of people, will take money out of Bitcoin for relatively superficial reasons. But these kind of, depressing little stories shouldn't shake anyone's confidence in this fundamental world-changing technology that is cryptocurrency. Yeah, we don't need central governments to give us a way of accounting for value anymore. Imagine that, as if we ever did. But now we have an alternative that is going to render governments obsolete. It's amazing. It is unclear whether investors, many of whom were probably bag holding on previous long positions, will use this uptick as a chance to recover their capital and take profits, sending the price tumbling back down to earlier levels or even new lows. For the time being, if you went ahead and shorted Bitcoin on margin, it might be a good time to add funds to your account in case the price rises even further and your positions get called. So we go now to BitcoinExchange.com. Bitcoin is now at $554.50. That is not the highest listing on the internet. It is usually a little bit lower on BTC-E.com. And so it seems like, at least as of today, it is certainly holding its value. CNBC has staked out its position now as an enemy of the Bitcoin. The address has changed several times, and I'll do my best to keep the link here current.
Shire Silver's products, Bitcoin, all these different alternative currencies are for sale.